Check one, check one. So earlier, early 3, 5 roll. So earlier, I was talking about how there was an immigrant from Sweden in 1790 A.D. He showed up at Ellis Isle, and they changed his name to Gunsmith Jones and kept his last name Carlson. So he married an Mohegan woman, and they made a kid named Tool. And Tool married a Nordic person, female, and made Werner, who married a Nordic female and made Silva, who mate with a Nordic Cherokee female and made Ricky, who made me with me ma, and that's that. There's that. So that's where I get my 3.25% Mohegan from a 1790 AD, and that's also the lineage of male Carlson in America. 1790 AD to present, 6 generations down. I'm about 30 years old. I was born in 1990. So I wanted to get into that a little bit, and then I wanted to talk about Werner, specifically since 1898 ish, 1898 Werner. You see, he wrote Stockholm, Stockholm for a mail order wife, and she showed up in 1920. My great grandmother Sarah, I knew her from 1990 to 1996. Werner, I never knew. He passed away in 1950 something. Yes, and then there was his and then there was his slave Gladys Tanakwichin, who was born 1898. Now I lived with Gladys from 1990 to 2006. I lived with Sarah from 1990 to 1996. And the last before 3 part guitar, I was talking about how a nameless blood tied family member, Sugar E, went from the back of the furthest parking lot up to the front of the stage, Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, 1987 summer. Um, so how did that happen? He got pulled on stage afterwards. Spent 2 weeks with the band. He had his something of a 6 hour opening set and our audition before the Brennenberg show in near Giant Stadium in 1987, and then from 1987, since he got pulled on stage, is how I refer, or got into the back of the furthest parking lot, all the way up to the front of the stage, pulled on stage, 2 weeks with the band, small show, and then until 1995, that nameless blood tied family member Sugar E was with the Grateful Dead during the Brent Midland years, and he wasn't really out all the way of the Grateful Dead. He wanted to check out 2001 in September because they were under suspicion for mass distribution of narcotics, and he was a family man, couldn't have any of that. Meanwhile, Silva, my grandpa, was a Navy man, and I lived with him from 1990 to 2003. And there was a whole pick a direction that Manhattan's exploded as well as the Pentagon, and it seems like we's all going to die. So there was that. But then there was Sarah and Werner and Gladys and their stories. Werner passed away in 1950 something, and he was the technical slave owner of Gladys, who was born chastised. Her ovaries were harvested, her clitoris was snipped. She was chastised at birth and doomed to live barren. She lived from 1898 until 2006, and Sarah lived from 1890 something or so until 1996. And so Werner passed away. Sarah and Gladys would take nameless blood tied family member Sugar Reese and to Woodstock '69. That's where the Grateful Dead tour starts in FAM. Woodstock '69. It was a neo-Native American, pro-Native American rights rally. So to speak, is what it was turned into, and they showed up not to hear the Disneyland 1954 guys, Jerry Garcia and Phil Lesh, with their buddies from Southern Cali, say Bob Weir, Mickey Hart, Bill's Cruiseman, and Ron McKern. Um, so 1969 all the way up until 1995, both Gladys and Sarah managed the 1969 to the 1995 Grateful Dead tour. As not that they traveled all around the every single Dead tour ever, you know, but at least a nameless blood tied family member, Sugar Lee, became a band member. Now he may have visited in Woodstock '69. He was of age, and and there was that. So mine starts Nassau Coliseum, Uniondale, New York, 32990. Wake up to find out a new baby was born unto the Grateful Dead. Not exactly. I was born in New London, but that was the first I was hearing it live in the baby birthing room over speakers. Um, so there was that, and that. So I went over a bit of the royalty as far as Swedish lineage. So the 1790 A.D. Gunsmith Jones Carlson marries an Mohegan woman and purchases 10,000 square foot in New London City. And the family, six generations down now, as far as male lineage, still has that 10,000 square foot in hand still today. So between when I moved in 1996, and you can guess the years, 1790 AD when it was bought by my great grandpa, great grandpappy of 1790 AD, there was I couldn't figure out how to phrase that. There was an expansion in property. They wound up becoming filthy rich and buying lots of land. And unfortunately, but fortunately for some of the for can I say that Negroes, um, they were smuggling Negro slaves to Canada, and eventually a Virginian bounty hunter caught word and he rode his horses up here, torched the mansion, killing the slaves and some of the family, and Virginia filed suit on the Carlson family, and we lost acreage, we lost property. We were able to keep an 1840 garage, and we were able to keep about a 10,000 square foot, and that's that. Thankfully, we're out of debt with the state of Virginia. Uh, Not that I was alive back then, but it is an era where I'd be able to speak for as it goes. So I'll go ahead and put this down. It was just a little bit of PSA. There was at least Gladys, was in Woodstock '69 until 1995, the passing of Jerry, and she saw the towers fall down too.